Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Kids Time. What a wonderful day to be together. I'm Rebekah, the Children, Youth, and Family Director here at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Missoula. And I'm so glad that you're here joining me up front at the playground. Today, we are going to talk about our second reading, which comes from a book in the New Testament called 1 Thessalonians. Now, can you say that word with me? It's a big one, so let's take it really slow. Thessalonians. Thessalonians. And actually, this book in the Bible is one really long letter. Can you even imagine writing a letter as long as a book in the Bible? Well, there was this guy a long time ago named Paul, and he wrote letters to all of these new Christians. And so this letter that Paul wrote was to a bunch of Christians in a place called Thessalonica. That's where we get the word Thessalonians from, for the name of the book. So Paul was writing this letter to the Christians in Thessalonica. And anyway, Paul writes to these Christians and reminds them that Jesus loves them so much and that Jesus is going to come back one day. How could they possibly have forgotten something so important, like how much Jesus loves them and that Jesus is coming back one day? Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes I need to be reminded of even the most important things too. Now, what are some things that you might do to help you remember important things? Like, what if you just put a really yummy batch of cookies into the oven and you need to remember when to take them out? What could you use to help you remember? Maybe you'd set a clock or a timer on your phone or your parents' phone. Or what if you wanted to remember your best friend's birthday? How do you think you could remember that? Well, maybe you would write it on a calendar. Or what about Christmas time? What does your family do to help you remember that it's getting close to Christmas? Maybe you put up a Christmas tree or other holiday decorations. We do all different kinds of things to help us remember. But did you know that we do the same thing here at church? So, what are those things that we have at church that might help us remember important things? So I moved over here so that we could see a few things in our church, in our sanctuary, that might help us remember important things. And one of those things that we use to remember are colors. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but throughout the church year, the colors that we see in our church, they change. And do you think you can notice what color we use right now? It's green. So you can see our green quilts up there. And if we turn this way, we can see some green on the altar and the candles too. So we use green because the season that we're in right now is called ordinary time. And in ordinary time, we talk a lot about growing things and growing God's love inside of us. So we use green to symbolize that growth. And there are other colors that we use for the rest of the church year. So let's look down here at the playground. You see that wheel? Do you remember that? Well, that big green section, that's where we are right now. But if we follow it along, what comes next? It's blue. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to move to a new season. And the color blue is going to help us remember about watching and waiting and being hopeful for the coming of Jesus. How cool is that? That even colors can help us remember such important things in our church year and in the story of Jesus. So, wait with me for just a couple more weeks and we'll see all of these colors change. And maybe, just maybe, you'll remember what those colors mean. I'm going to try my best to remember too. Well, thank you, friends. Thank you for being with me here in the playground today for Kids Time. And I can't wait to see you back next week. Bye, everybody.